what should we do now? I do want to ask you about this push thing. I want to ask you about Mitrovic because I do think this is quite interesting. So incredible FA Cup game at the weekend between Fulham and Man U. A proper meltdown from Fulham over a couple of minutes from the Willian handball, which is a handball. It was a pretty clear handball and was always going to be given. I haven't seen enough angles of Marco Silva. I assume he was swearing at the referee when he was trying to watch the VAR thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen enough angles of it, but that's what I've read anyway, but I don't know. And then Mitrovic is the interesting one here. So it's 3 red cards in the space of a few seconds. Man United score the penalty, then it's the winner. There's another goal after that, but essentially the winner.
Sabitzer.
Sabitzer's little flick. 3-match ban Mitrovic is currently going to get for shoving the referee. Now, if you haven't seen it, the referee is walking Chris Kavanagh back towards the penalty area, having pointed towards the penalty spot, having sent off Willian with one of those kind of cancel that decision red card jobs, and sent off Marco Silva for whatever he said. Mitrovic does that thing where you've been having a row with a friend and you want to grab their attention, like in the pub before they storm off, and you kind of put your sort of fist almost on their upper shoulder above the chest and give him a little kind of nudge back and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not done with you yet."
Like a forearm push, yeah.
Like a little forearm push. So he's not hit him. I want to try and describe it in a way that people will understand it in case they haven't seen it, because he's not hit him. You know, it's like when I got hit in the playground today, Daddy. You're like, "Oh, what happened?" It wasn't like someone attacked him with a lead pipe. He just got like a little, "Let me get your attention, please." Now, I'm not saying it's acceptable. It's not. The red card is appropriate. But Danny, the talk today is that there is going to be a lengthy ban here for what is being described as a barge currently on the referee. It's a 3-match ban, a standard punishment. There is a clamour for more. Now, for a bit of historical reference, Eric Cantona was given an 8-month ban for the famous Kung Fu kick in 95. Paolo Di Canio was given an 11-match ban for the push on referee Paul Alcock when he played for Sheffield Wednesday in 98. Lee Bowyer was given a 7-match ban for being involved in a punch-up with Kieran Dyer on the pitch, and was also given a criminal charge by Northumbria Police, as memory serves. David Prutton was given a 10-match ban for shoving a referee. It was Alan Wiley in 05. He was playing for Southampton at the time. Ben Thatcher got 8 matches for a similar thing. Joey Barton, 12, and Luis Suarez famously got 10 for the racial abuse of Patrice Evra. So, you know, I think Arthur Masuaku got 6 games for spitting at a West Ham Brighton game. So there's references to numbers, Danny. What did you make to the incident first, and then what is an appropriate punishment? There was a massive clamour today, at least in the sports media, that 3 is not enough.
Yeah, I do not think 3 is enough. All right, so the reference point that Marco Silva was using afterwards, after being sent off in the presser, was previous games with Chris Kavanagh officiating Fulham matches and feeling as though calls did not go their way, whether it was the management of the game, it was VAR intervention or lack thereof, and that points were dropped, lost from Fulham's perspective. So here's what happens. When you get referees and you feel like you've been hard done, and you find out that they're in charge of matches, and even big matches like this, there's anger and there's frustration before the whistle even blows. And there's trepidation that you are going to get hosed again, right? Fulham by far was the better team. By far was the better team on the day. They started, they managed, they controlled, created better chances, minimized, neutralized, whatever you want to talk about from Manchester United's perspective. Started out the second half, an incredible run, that first 5 minutes, and Issa Diop, his ball, that creates the opportunity for Mitrovic, who I'm still trying to figure out what Luke Shaw is doing. And then the handball happens. When Chris Kavanagh goes over to the monitor, that is when Marco Silva references everything that has previously happened between the team and Kavanagh's the referee, and he enters, or at least he departs, his technical area. We all know it's a big no-no. You can't come anywhere near and intervene in the process of the referee and VAR. So whatever the words were, like, you're fucking us again. Sorry, Tim. Like something like that. And being out of his technical area and intervening to that moment of VAR, he was shown straight red. And I don't have a problem with that because I think he knew, despite how frustrated he was, despite inevitably he knew that it was going to be a red card and it was going to be a point to the spot. It was going to be a penalty in favor of Manchester United. He took everything that had been bundled up from the past, brought it to the present, and then took it a step forward. I think when Willian's shown the red, he knows it's happening immediately. I think the moment that they do go on the monitor, that's when he knows he's in trouble. Mitrovic, we know that his passion for the game is at whatever 100 is. He's like at 103. I don't think it helps that his manager reacts in the way it does. I think that amps him up just a little bit more. I think then once he sees one red card to his manager, then another red card to his player, and he knows that subsequently a penalty is being involved, I think he just sees red mist. Now, here's the problem. I've told you, you can say whatever you want to a referee as long as you cover your mouth and you're not demonstrative, you're not throwing like, you can get away with saying a lot to the referee. You can let referees know that the frustration level of players in the heat of the moment can boil over. But there's still a respect that has to be shown. Verbally and demonstratively are two things. But physically, and I know people are going to talk about Bruno, and I still think Bruno was over the line when he pushed, kind of like did this with the AR in the near side in the game a few weeks ago. I thought that should have been looked at, and I thought that crossed the line. That was me. I just thought it crossed the line. I don't think you should ever put your hands on referees, because here's the reality. There are millions of children watching these games. There are millions of children that are going to, like my boys, pull up YouTube and be like, Dad, did you see Mitrovic shove the referee? And I agree with you. It's not like physical assault in which he's going to like throw a punch or he's looking for a fight, but he most definitely, he's the one that started the confrontation. He took it over the line by something you should never do. Put your hands on a referee ever, ever, ever. These are absolute leaders in the industry, these athletes, and they are iconic presence that it's not just adults, because we talk about adult soccer leagues, we talk about indoor leagues, we talk about kids, the abuse that these referees get. Yeah. And then to see at the highest level that a professional athlete is doing this to a referee, that's a data mark in people's heads. So what happens if they go play indoor that night and it's a bad call? Well, Mitrovic did it. So I 100% believe that this is more than 3 games. What that number subsequently is and what the appeal is and what it gets knocked down to, whatever, that's up for interpretation. But I 100% believe that he's looking at it a bare minimum 5 games, if not much, much bigger, because the physicality of that, like forearm push to the referee, I thought Kavanaugh handled it perfectly. I thought he stepped back, showed the red, and then got out of backpedaled out of the situation. He wasn't running for his life by any means, but he was trying to separate himself from Mitrovic, who had absolutely crossed the line. And you have to, when things like this happen, there needs to be accountability, there needs to be apologies, and there needs to be an understanding that a line was crossed. And I'm not sure, based on any of the conversations that I've seen so far, and this is just me in my world here in Utah and scouring the internet for information every day, I still haven't seen an apology or an acknowledgement that this was 100% incorrect. Because even in the post-game conversations, it was Silva, oh, I shouldn't have left my technical area, but, and then it was the justification of the actions subsequently after.
Couple of bits on that. I know we haven't got a great deal of time here, but if anyone listening to this doubts Danny's assertion that kids around the world are going to copy this, and also, anyone who plays football over kind of any 5-a-side power league, whatever, is going to copy this sort of behavior to any official, go to watch one of those games and watch the diving. Watch the amount of diving. I went to a game not long ago with like 11-year-olds, and kid was running down the wing, got tripped by the defender. My nephew hacked him down. Good lad. And then it was a nothing challenge. And the winger was like, Oh, woe is me. My leg is gone. My life is over. Referee called the police. And then a yellow card came out and he was like, right, my free kick. Here we go. Off we go. And they're all cheating. The 5-year-olds now are diving. And that's because of a culture of pervasive diving we've allowed into football for the last 20, 25 years, right? It's why people who don't like this game criticize it because we've allowed that to come into a point now where it's never going to go, right? So it definitely influences the lower levels, whatever happens, the higher levels. But what needs to happen here, and we've had this conversation before, so I'll just bullet point it here and we'll do it again at a later date, I'm sure. A total culture change with the refereeing. A total culture change. Firstly, round of applause for Chris Kavanagh. It would have been harder to do it to a Man United team at Old Trafford than the Fulham team, sure. So I'll allow that. I've seen that written a few times. But to send off the manager for coming into his face and swearing at him, superb. Well done for doing that. Sending off Mitrovic moments after sending off Willian and the manager, that's ballsy. That's gutsy. And I'm pleased he did it because he could have easily gone, all right, calm down, and kept Mitrovic on. He could have done Mitrovic that favour, but why would he? So well done on that score as well. But what we've got here is a total lack of respect for the law, to quote a great song by The Prodigy. And what we need here is to bring that respect in. It's not going to happen with lines around the field to stop parents crossing it. It's not going to happen with slogans and banners. It's going to happen, sorry to go ultra right wing on this, it's going to happen with zero tolerance. It's going to happen with treating the players as they are, which is children who will do anything to get ahead. Anything to get ahead, anything to get that slight advantage, as they're being paid to do and as they should do. But if that involves pressurizing the referee, talking to the referee, questioning the referee, then it's an immediate red. I love it. I love to see it. I'm always proposing the sin bin as well. I think there was a clear sin bin opportunity for both Mitrovic and Silva here. I think they could be good test cases for the sin bin at a future point. Could Mitrovic not have had 15 minutes there to go and call off? I don't know. I mean, there's a conversation to be had there, but I think that there are situations where I'd like to see that. But you even go to Wolves Leeds the weekend and Lopetegui getting the referee's face. Rob Jones, I think it was, decided to stick with the decision. There should be absolutely no speaking to the referee by either team after any decision. Anyone who gets in their face should immediately be sent off. Anyone who swears at the referee should be immediately sent off. And I remember speaking, it might have been to Mark Halsey, the former Premier League referee. And he used to say to players, and feel free to correct me if this is wrong, Mark, if you're listening or anyone on his behalf. But he used to say, you can say anything you want to me. And you said this to me previously as well, as long as it's not demonstrative and public. You said it kind of just there as well. You can call me this, that, or the other, but cover your mouth and come speak to me in my office. Got to go. Got to go, all that. All that's got to go. What it's got to be is the referee's made his decision. There's someone checking it. Don't go near him. You go near him, then it is a red. Don't talk to him. But then that leads on the other side. They give a post-match press conference. They justify their decisions. And then we get a better caliber of referee by bringing better caliber of people doing the job. Those are some of the solutions to this problem.